So here with Jay Sutaria in his excellent facility. So I just want to have you introduce yourself and tell me what you do, who you are.
So I want to say I'm a personal trainer, but I hate that term.
How you define yourself?
I hate that term. So you were actually the motivation for me to think of the next best title. And I guess it would be an injury and performance specialist, for lack of a better term, right?
Yep.
So we deal with everybody from they go through a knee surgery and they want an alternative to physical therapy. We'll help them, and then help the people that just want to come in for performance. And then anything in between, obviously we can do that stuff as well. And we've been doing it for a long time and hope to do it for much longer.
But I should start out by saying happy anniversary.
Thanks, man. 3 years. 3 years in this facility.
3 years in this wonderful facility. So that's really a testament to the stuff that you do, the product that you do, the clients you serve, and the service you provide.
I mean, we made it through a lot of stuff. We opened the doors, so it's March 2nd. We opened the doors March 2nd, 2020.
So literally was 3 years ago.
Literally 3 years ago. It's like the literal anniversary today. And
that's great.
I think 2 weeks after we opened the doors was when Houston got shut down.
COVID.
Because of COVID.
So
I always say, if we made it through COVID, stress is gone. The doors are always going to be open, hopefully. And just make it happen.
No, it's like tough timing, but builds a lot of resiliency. Definitely do something like that.
For sure. You don't think about it until way after the fact, but we worked our butts off to make it happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it is what it is. We didn't know when we signed the lease on February 1st, 2020. Nobody knew it was going to be a thing, and or a pandemic, and can't go backwards on it.
Of course.
So you got one choice, and that's make it work.
How'd you get through it?
So we got pretty lucky that the city of Houston came in, they saw our facility, and they asked about how we work. Right? And we do all one-on-ones. So the pre-existing classification for this building was an office space, and so they kept it for us as an office space. Basically, the inspector was like, "You do one-on-one, so you're more like a physical therapy clinic. So we're gonna keep it as an office." Now, the order came out that all gyms had to shut down. Gotcha. This was during COVID, right?
I remember that.
But we're not a gym, technically classified as an office, so we don't have to shut down. And then the essential business order came out, but we have the ability to, can't see it now, but we have a big garage door. We can have fresh air in here all the time. And so I think combination of those things and other gyms shutting down, now people like professional athletes have to work out. Toyota Center shut down for the Rockets. So then we reach out to some of our existing clients. Hey, if anybody needs to train, we're open. They just have to train with us. And so it's like our system. And so put yourself in their shoes. Like, you don't have a facility. The only option that you have is to go to this brand new facility. But now you're exposed to a really nice, clean gym. At the same time, you're exposed to really good training that you probably haven't had in your life ever or in a long time. Then you stay a client after that. In a lot of ways, and this is not good at all, but COVID helped us.
No, that's true for a lot of businesses.
Unfortunately, it's like it sucks because it also hurt so many other businesses. But I feel like maybe for every 5 that it hurt, there was one that benefited from it, and we were that one.
Through tragedy, there's some success stories.
Exactly. We don't want to hang our hat on that. It's not something that we're proud of. It's proud of us. Like, we're happy that we did it, but at the same time recognize like how much of a detriment it was to so many other people that weren't so lucky.
No, definitely. That goes without saying. But so I guess now that we talk about getting to the present, go backwards in time about how you got started on this path to begin with.
Oh, how much time do we have?
It's only an hour show.
Okay. Keep it short.
Right.
I went to UH, University of Houston. I pursued a degree in exercise science, kinesiology, and at the time I was like, oh, I'm gonna be a physical therapist. This is my route in life. At the same time, I had started working for the same program that I got my personal training certification from. It's more a diploma. And so I was an instructor for that program. One of our students that came in was a physical therapist in England, a UK-based physical therapist. And she wanted more like hands-on performance training application stuff. But while teaching her, I realized how one-dimensional she was. Like, she knew the hell out the body, but couldn't apply for anything. I remember thinking to myself, it was like a aha moment. Like, I don't want to be this way. I want to be like a jack of all trades. I know a lot about a ton of different subjects, not just one particular thing. And shout out my dad, he was pissed, right? He was like typical like immigrant dad, corporate America, employed for his whole life in the States. It's the whole conversation. You can't make good money, you're not successful, you don't have a steady paycheck. And it wasn't until 2015. So that was, I graduated college in 2012. So 2011 was when the business officially opened.
Okay.
I didn't really do anything with it until I got out of college. And then 3 years later was when my dad was like, okay, and it was because of who I started working with at that time.
And who'd you start working with?
The guy that put me on the map was Dwight Howard.
That's a big name. That's a big name.
In my opinion, top 75 all time, for sure.
So how did that happen?
Pretty creepy.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Now's the time to tell.
Tell all for sure. There's a Sprinkles Cupcakes not far from here.
Okay.
And at the time, it was like 2015. Schedule's not heavy. I'm new in the game. And he had posted on Instagram, I'm going to be handing out cupcakes at Sprinkles. Come in. Say hi. This is coming off of a playoff defeat where he had injured his knee. I think one of his teammates had fell into his knee. And at the time, that's what I was working on most, was like knee injuries and just treatment. So I looked at the schedule, pretty light. Like I might as well give it a shot. I went out there, took him one of our company shirts. Sat in line. I stood in line outside. It was wrapped around the building for probably, it felt like 2 hours. It's probably around that. For everybody that was there, they were there to get a picture and a cupcake.
Right.
Dwight. I was there to shoot my shot. I could be a guy that helps you with your knee. From that, I made the introduction. His manager got my information. We stayed in contact for the next 2 months.
But real quick, so you basically went up to him and said, hey, I don't want a cupcake.
No, in a nutshell, it might be the first time I'm telling you in this much detail. This is great. This is great. So I made eye contact with like the roller coaster, the ropes, right? So I'm in the back, right? He's at the counter, and we make eye contact. And I went around. His manager's sitting where you are, right? Dwight's in front, you're here. And I bypass his manager, go straight to Dwight, and I'm like, how's your knee? He said, it's all right, but he made a face. And I knew like from that injury, from the way that fall happened, and he wasn't all right. So I was like, I can help you with it. Just like that. I can help you with it.
You knew or you thought you could?
I knew.
You knew?
I knew. Because a guy like him, there's no way he hasn't gotten an MRI yet. If he had gotten the MRI, then all the news would be public as to he has a serious injury. So I knew if it's a ligament thing that's not a tear, I can help you with this stuff.
Okay.
And he was like, okay, cool. That's my manager. Make sure he gets your number before you leave. And let's take this picture real quick. I was like, okay, cool. Let's take it. So we take the picture. I put that shirt, right? The company shirt on the counter. And he gets a Sharpie out. To sign it. And I was like, Dwight, I don't care. I was like, no offense, I don't want your autograph. I'm not here for that. This is for you to keep.
Okay.
And so while everybody's there to get something from him, I'm there to give something to him.
That's a big deal.
And then, like, long story short, organically, that relationship with the manager bloomed a little bit. And I was coaching a boys basketball game at the rec center, and at halftime, my phone rang. It was his manager, and he goes, "Hey, I want to keep it pretty short. Big fella is talking about taking you to Miami and Vegas as a trial run. If he likes what you're doing, then Dubai and China."
Wow. Just like that.
Just like that. And I knew I was locked in from the first workout we worked at the University of Miami, and I knew I was locked in at the end of that workout.
Wow. What'd you do? What was your secret? You could tell.
It's the same thing that we're doing here day in and day out. We loosen the hips, activate the glutes, and that takes pressure off the knees. And so I sat down with him in the hotel room before we went to the U, and I said, look, we're going to lift weights today, but you haven't lifted all summer, so we're going to ease into it. We're not going to lift. It would say lift weights, it's going to be all body weight. And he had this look on his face when he's like, I just brought the wrong guy on this trip.
I can lift 500 pounds.
We're not going to be body weight. And then, so I said that, he had that look on his face. And then I said, but we're not going to get into the workout until you don't feel your knee aching. And I said, you won't feel it aching within about 15 to 20 minutes. At that point, he was really like, what did I get? You know what I mean? Like, what did I get myself?
Yeah, just doubt.
And exactly, did I bring
who's this guy?
Exactly. Got through the hip stuff, the band work, and got the glutes firing. And then I think it was about 15 minutes later, I said, how's your knee? And he was like, I don't feel it. I said, let's lift. And then at the end of it, he takes a selfie. He's sweating a little bit. So I'm like, I remember texting my wife, I think I'm in. Like, I'm locked in now. And then when that was Miami for 2-3 days, then we went from there straight to Vegas because the USA Basketball happens out there. He was part of that cult, that team.
Okay.
And then the last night in Vegas, we're all hanging out in his hotel suite, and he comes out there with his laptop and his credit card, and he's like, hey, this is what flight we're going on. Wow. Going to Dubai on, go ahead and book it.
Booking a flight to Dubai. Wow.
So I think it literally came home for one night, and then the following evening, I was on a plane to Dubai.
Wow.
But anyway, he changed my life.
Obviously, I mean, that's just being discovered. But like anyone who has talent, getting discovered is like the key.
That's all it is.
But you have to put the hard work in, first of all, to be able to be
There
in
were many
situation?
times in the 3 years that I was just training, right? Not athletes. There was many times I was like, do I want to, is this going to take off?
Works. All that doubt.
Am I going to get my next client? You know what I mean? And if I didn't stick with it, then this doesn't happen.
Perseverance. And you have that doubt. It's not guaranteed. You're working hard, developing your craft, perfecting your craft, and you got that big break.
But I always say, this too, if you care enough about something and you put the time and effort in, you're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. At the worst case, you're going to be fine. And that's how I live every day like that now. You can't control certain aspects. You can't control what people are saying, but I can't control how I help everybody that comes in here. If I do a good job with that, then I'll be all right.
That's great.
That's the story.
How'd you develop like a program for him specifically first, for Dwight Howard, and then like where'd that come from? Just reading, just experience?
I think anybody in any field, if they blindly follow tunnel vision on one thing that they've learned, they're setting themselves up for failure, right? For us, we had different protocols. I have my degree education that I went through. I have 2 programs, the NSCA and NASM, that we worked on first. What I did was, and then obviously the certification courses are separate. But you take bits and pieces. Oh, that makes a lot of sense. Let me take that gem. This program makes a lot of sense. And then you develop your own methods based on that, right? And that's what I did. And so I remember sitting on South Beach and just writing Dwight's program because I hadn't worked with him. So day one is okay. This is his first time probably here. He won't even know, but day one is I don't know if this is gonna work. Works like in theory this works.
You got to shoot. You got to see how they respond and see.
And he responded well. So that evening I went and I was sitting on South Beach and I was writing the program and I was like, you know what? Let's try doing some like stuff that the team I know for sure doesn't do. And teams are geared towards, especially 8-7 years ago, they're geared more so on just lifting.
Definitely.
Like we're gonna make it robotic. The movements, it's kind of changed and morphed a little bit for the better. But at the time, I knew that, and so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna piggyback off of what they're not doing, and then that became my program, and that's stuck for the most part with everybody that's come in here.
And I guess that's how you define and differentiate yourself as an injury performance specialist.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, you hurt? Well, let's fix that.
Yeah.
It hurts when you perform. Let's fix that too, and then we can have pain-free performance.
And so what would you say is your main differentiator? I know I said your title is injury performance specialist, and me in my professional life, I treat injuries, but I like sending them to you because you basically tweak them for athletic success or whatever. And so how do you get into the mindset of an athlete or get them to the level where they want to compete at again? You understand what I'm saying? When they're injured, they want to get to that level again because not every athlete can. That's the reality of some injuries, but I think with the right recovery mindset and the right recovery coach or something, they can get back to their level of play.
I think number one is it's on the athlete. Do they want to go through, for a significant injury, 8 months to a year of just not feeling good? That's on them. And I had a guy yesterday who I found out plays in Germany. I didn't work with him this summer because he spent time away from Houston, but he tore his Achilles last month or last week. And that messes with me because I'm like, maybe there could have been something if we had some time in Houston that could have helped you prevent this. But the first thing I asked him was, he's 33. Do you want this? Do you want to come back from this and play at a high level?
It's a big deal.
And that's the first question I had, right? And I said, cool, I can help you with it then. But that's number one. And then everything falls on me where it's, okay, you're not getting the attention you need from the team. That's not anybody's fault. It's the structure, the way the organizations are set up. There's a head strength coach and an assistant, athletic trainer. You got 3 guys for 15 people. It's just not enough. So let me give you the attention that you need so that we can start getting this on the right path. I think a lot of times the guys will go through, again, nothing bad with the team. They go through that with the team, and they either don't get the attention or it's, I'm showing up to work. Then when you change it to, I'm just going to meet my trainer, you know what I mean, on a session or on, you know what I mean? Now there's a reason behind it. Now we're not just working out, we're training. The difference between those two is you train, you're looking forward, you're doing it for something.
You're moving towards something, you're progressing.
You have a goal.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's an interesting
versus just working out.
That's an interesting way. Great way to put it.
But the Rockets head coach came in here, he just wanted to see what we had going on. At the time, we worked with more Rockets than we do now, but he said, I just want to see what you got going on. He said, I don't know what you're doing here, but the guys love you. Then my response to him was, I just give them attention. You know what I mean? I'm not reinventing the wheel. I'm not.
But you're doing something different, though. You have to and I know you're trying to be modest, but you are doing something different for high-level athletes to come here.
But that wasn't intentional. That wasn't, my mindset wasn't, I'm going to do something different so that guys come in here. I think that's just how I am. Like, I just,
great.
Like, my intention is just, why do something if you're not going to do it? And if that gets me more business, awesome. It's a bonus, right?
Yeah.
What I don't want is, I look at business in this industry as like a +1 or a -1 when we talk about clients, right? So you have a good conversation with somebody, right? They believe in you, blah, blah, blah. Boom, +1. That's a +1 potential client that you just, now the other way around is if you have a conversation, it goes south, or they don't like what you're saying or whatever, you just lost a potential client. It's just how I'm wired. I care more about the -1s than I do about the +1s. I don't want to lose. I think people are much quicker to talk bad about you than they are to talk good about you. So if you minimize the -1s, you have less people talking bad about you.
You have less detractors, more promoters.
Exactly. And that's the goal in any service-driven business. So this is how I am.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Tell me more about, I like what you said about giving attention to athletes. You know, always get that attention from their sports team, their sports club, or what have you. But when you give them attention, I know you are treating maybe their physical injury, but what else, like in that mix, do you think they need? Mental health, nutritional, and what, if you were to design like a optimal program, what would that be?
If I was working with a guy that had unlimited resources, and he wanted me to outline everybody that he needs in his corner, it would be me for us, right, for the strength and conditioning part of it and the injury prevention side. Okay, I would have him with either a physical therapist or a massage therapist for their deep tissue type work. I would have him with a skills coach for their sport specifically.
Sport specific.
Those three are like non-negotiable. And then I would dip into, you got to have a nutritionist, because what we're doing in here, it won't be, how do you say it? It won't have the impact that we want it to have. Right? It won't be optimal. That's the word. Without your nutrition being on point. And then the last part of it would be, you gotta have, the mental has to be right. And so I think, and again, like I'm not like tooting our own horn, but like trainers, if you really care, you just become a mental health coach indirectly, right? It is, the hats that we wear, it's a lot of the physical stuff. I'm coaching you, I'm giving you a program, but like, if I have a guy that hasn't slept good last night, he comes in on 5 hours of sleep, that's a decision I have to make, and it's been more times than not, if that happens, I send you home. I'd rather you recover, because this one workout at 50% isn't going to get you any better. Then for me, people will be like, well, you're giving away money if you send them home. I don't care. Like, money's good. Having a long-term client that knows that you're in it for his best interest, I think that matters a little bit more. So those 5 people would be in my category. So.
That's great. So you just mentioned it. Talk to me more about sleep, because I feel like sleep is more and more as an important component to performance in all aspects,
and recovery and all that.
Whether it's mental, whether it's physical, whether it's any kind of testing, any kind of optimal performance. And I feel like that wasn't always emphasized. People are like, oh, you work hard, don't have to sleep much. That's falling by the wayside.
It's like the Kobe mentality, right?
Exactly.
Like sleep less and work more. People forget how many injuries he had. I think what's publicized more is like, you need 8 hours of sleep. I disagree. I think you need good quality sleep.
The quality of sleep.
Because I could be on my phone and then go to bed, and I'm not really hitting my REM sleep until much later on now. So I think what you do before you go to bed has a bigger impact than the number, the quantity that you're sleeping. That's number one. I think sleep midday, like naps and all that, I think they're good if they're short. This is my opinion. My experience. I think that if you sleep midday, that's going to affect your sleep at night. So I don't think recovery sleep happens midday. I think mental clarity comes from like the power naps that we get, but not physical recovery. That's more so for nighttime. It's about what you do. It's about what you do before you go to bed. It's about how you are when your alarm goes off. And I'm guilty, like I'm a snoozer. But I remember when I was feeling my best physically, was when we had a check-in group. We all just texted this group like, oh, I'm up, and it's mobility time at 5:30 in the morning. And so now if somebody doesn't text you, they didn't do it. So it's an accountability system.
So let me stop you. So just like you had a group of friends, people
like 8 people, like clients, friends, family, whatever.
So you text each other when you woke up, like it was just like, we're gonna wake up at 5 or whatever time.
Hey, mobility starts at 5:30.
Okay.
And some people are on the East Coast, so they get more sleep.
Okay.
Jealous. But you just, if we're in the group, then you text me like, yo, I'm up.
So wherever you are, you text and say, I'm up.
And then you have the program from me. This is what we're doing today.
So you do something.
And then it's 20 minutes. But like, you feel number one, you've already accomplished something that day.
Right.
You've gotten the hardest thing out of the way, and that's to move. One of the guys, his name is Ryan Esdor. He lives in Iowa. He was Dwight's massage therapist. On his team, basically. We traveled. And he told me, I don't know if he got it from a book or what, and it was some kind of military guy that he had heard it from. The guy said you need 90 seconds after your alarm goes off to lose the urge to go back to bed. So you need to be awake for 90 seconds. So Ryan, at the time, his bedroom was upstairs. And so he told me, and I still remember, this was 8 years ago, he said, I don't care about fish oils, I don't care about the health benefits, but I know it takes me 90 seconds to go downstairs, pop a fish oil, and drink water with it, and I'm good. So that's why I take the fish oil.
As long as you go downstairs, as long as you get downstairs.
And I started doing it. You know what I mean? Like I was like, look, I'm not gonna snooze, I'm gonna wake up. And I gotta fight it for 90 seconds.
And as long as you can fight it for 90 seconds. And
try it tomorrow.
That's a good point.
It works. It works. But it's
so do you hit the snooze button?
Now? I need to get better. I need to get back.
I'm not trying to be.
No,
everyone.
It's like do as I say, not as I do. I need to get back on just the alarm's off. I'm up. The problem I have in the mornings is I don't know what to do. You know what I'm saying? So if I had a routine in the morning, good. I just don't have. I don't have anything to fill the gap. Before I start getting ready for work.
Got you. Talk to me about, do you have any experience in wearables, fitness technology? Are you interested in trying to get more involved, or are people coming to you about tracking my steps or tracking my heart rate variability or something like that? Do you see that happening more in the future, or?
It's definitely the way that the world is going with workouts. I took my Apple Watch off. Didn't like that a watch was dictating how hard I felt like I worked. Plenty of times where I felt like I worked myself to exhaustion, and you look down, I was a little bit discouraged that I had to burn 500 calories.
I got this thing telling me how many, I got to close my ring.
Close your ring. So I took mine off for that reason. I just did it. I didn't want to depend on that. I think it's good for people that aren't super active to get them moving. It makes sense. But then there's another product that, and I haven't talked to you guys in a while, but there's a group that's out of Harvard University, and they're working on a wearable product where I basically clip something onto a waistband of my shorts. I wear the Apple Watch again, and I hit start on the app, and it tracks the workouts I'm doing. It tracks my range of motion. It tracks how fatigued I got throughout my set. It's like I don't have to push anything. So I could put a bar on the ground, hit start deadlifting, and I don't have to input what I just did. It just tracks it based on the way my body is moving. So super cool if it comes to market. The challenge is getting it there. But the world's going that way.
And I guess another way they ask it would be, what data would you want to have that you think could help athletes recover from injury?
I think force production is always a good one.
Force production. What do you mean by that?
So how much power they can apply. And that's more so, can we get out of the asymmetry from the injury and get back to being as even as possible on both sides. That's a big one when it comes to the performance side of things.
Gotcha.
But before the performance, I think the fatigue or the rate of exertion is probably the most important thing, because injuries happen more so than not when there's fatigue involved. And so if I have access to that data, then I can assess like, okay, when we dip down to this level of fatigue, we're putting ourselves at this much more of a risk to get hurt or whatever. So I think those two are my big ones. And then you can take both of them at the same time and performance, and now we're building machines.
That's interesting. There was a recent New York Times article a couple of days ago. I don't know if you saw it. It was about how injuries happen, basically. And I think some neuroscientists were looking at a couple instances of injuries. And basically they found that injuries happen when your brain does not have the correct feeling or the correct positioning in space that it assumes it should. Like you're running down a field and you plant one way, but your leg does not understand that is heading in a certain direction, different
miscommunication.
Yeah, exactly.
Between brain and neurons.
Exactly. So I think I've seen you have it in here. There was like a light up thing where you like tap a light.
Blaze pod.
Exactly. I think that's like one way to train like the mind body connection.
It's huge.
Yeah, so that definitely is important.
So I'm going to go back to the first year. You're heavier in that field, but what we learned when I was in school was the GTO, the Golgi tendon organ. That ring a bell?
Stretch reflexes.
So the way we were taught it and the way that we taught others was that's your brain. Every muscle has it, right? That's your body's way of limiting you to say, if we push past this point, now we're going to increase our chance of injury. Is that accurate? Am I still on board with it? Okay. Okay. So athletes or the people that have the ability to say, you know what, I don't care. And
push past that.
But that's why we see more injuries in athletes.
Exactly.
So I just wanted to, I was going back to, I wanted to feel good about myself.
No, you still got that college, that university education.
To your other point with the reaction stuff, if I don't use the lights, what's really cool is I'll put, let's just say 3 cones in a line, and we have to sprint, touch a cone, sprint, touch a cone, whatever it is, whatever drill you want to think of. Now, the cones may be like cone 1 may be yellow, cone 2 may be green, and then cone 3 is red.
Okay.
And let's say that you're already in full sprint downhill.
Gotcha.
Let's say I call out yellow, but I point to cone 3. Right now, we see a lot of it. People run to cone. I'm gonna go visual. I'm gonna run to cone 3. Right? But on a higher level, that's how we train. Like no part of any sport is predetermined. Everything's reactive.
Right.
So if I give you a cone that's yellow, green, red, and I tell you to run to the yellow, at no point in any sport are you gonna have that ability to do it in a game competition. So now, okay, run downhill. React to what I say, not what I point to, or react to what I point to, not what I say.
It takes a lot of processing.
Oh, there's a lot of throwing kick cones, and people get mad about it because that's the stuff that's how I like to train.
It's just a different. It's a fundamentally different way, as far as I have been exposed to, of approaching training, recovery.
It should be less robotic. I feel, and I think that's the challenge, is that everything has become so robotic, even with the technology. Like the app I told you guys about, there's only so many exercises that you can program into this thing.
Exactly.
Now, what if I'm doing an RDL to a press, to a side, like what if I'm doing a complex? It's not going to pick that up. And that's how we train. As far as injury goes, if anything is predetermined, we can protect our joints and ligaments. For the last phase of rehab, why would I want you to protect anything? Why wouldn't I want to test to see where we're at? And that's where I can throw you into the same drill of reaction-based training. And you're not thinking of the injury, you're thinking of the drill itself. And now I can see in space, what's that knee doing that was dipping in before? You know what I mean? Like that type of stuff.
That's important.
That's the stuff that I have fun with. And there's like a ball throw associated with it. You know what I mean? Turn and go get this. It's just, you keep it fun that way too. And then we got the space in here finally to do it, that type of stuff.
So take me back to the space and like your plans for this space, your plans for your company, your future.
I want to say that we named the DBA is STF Houston. I want to say we named it that with the intention of expanding into other STF Atlanta, STF Orlando. I think I'm a little too, I have to get out of being so OCD and controlling over having, I have to be hands-on. And if I remove myself from this location, I lose the hands-on ability here and I put it into another facility. And then vice versa, if I leave that one, come back over here. So I think trust is an issue. I have a hard time understanding. Nobody's going to run it the way I would. I have to be okay with that. But for now, I'm really happy here. Like, we just signed a 3-year extension.
That's great.
So we're here for 3 more. We're gonna take, because we rent this, right? We're gonna take these next 3 years and try to find a plot of land that we can build on, and then I don't know, maybe have something bigger, maybe not. I really like how the family vibes in here, the atmosphere is always really cool and shit. So I just go with the flow. If you ask me this in the summer, when we're busy and all the athletes are back in town, I would say that we need a bigger place.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? But they're all in season right now, so we're pretty quiet.
Thanks, Jay, for talking and giving us your insight and your expertise about injury performance specialists.
I appreciate you having me on.